Time to bring you the latest from the world of sports. I'm Haruna Mubarak. Now, Ghana Premier League clubs will not be allowed to host home matches at their venues if they fail to appoint a club safety and security officer, according to the Ghana Football Association. This decision is part of newly enhanced matchday safety and security protocols for football competitions in the country. Clubs could face a fine of 20,000 Ghana cedis for failing to adhere to the new protocols. My colleague Razak Musbao has more.
According to the Ghana Football Association, the Inspector General of Police has agreed to establish regional sports officers who serve as the primary contact for sports events. These officers will be tasked with overseeing all aspects of sports policing within their respective regions. The clubs have also been tasked to ensure that the required number of safety and security personnel are provided for each category of matches. Significantly, these safety personnel are to be in their located positions in and around the stadium at least 4 hours before kickoff and expected to be extra vigilant until end of the match day. Also, clubs shall ensure collaboration with their supporters group and develop code of conduct to guide and to invoke the punishment and banning of recalcitrant supporters. Again, each club shall liaise with their stadium facility owners to install CCTV cameras at their facility to enhance the operation of safety and security at matches. Moreover, the teams are to ensure fans of both sides are properly stationed with little proximity to each other to reduce exchanges of any kind in and around the stadium. Also, there shall be a prohibition for the sales and distribution of beverages and drinks in cans and glass bottles at match venues. These drinks can only be dispensed in paper or open plastic cups which cannot be used dangerously. This is followed by the complete ban on hawking in the stadium stands. According to the association, these protocols will be applied strictly and the sanctions, which ranges from hefty fines, permanent stadium bans and suspension of officials, shall be enforced to the letter to ensure safety and security at the match venues for all stakeholders.
Now, Minister of Sports and Recreation Kofi Adams has acknowledged the ministry's challenges in securing funds to carry out its functions. However, he remains committed to establishing a sports fund through various avenues to enable the ministry to fully fulfill its role.
Right, the sports funding has been a challenge. If you ask any sports minister from past, and maybe even to my very good self today, what is one big challenge that confronts the industry? I'll tell you, funding. And so the issue of sports fund is something that have run through, and it cannot continue to be a problem that must be running through.
Oh, no, but before you continue, is it that we don't, what have you identified from where, I mean, from observing from the background? Because I mean, like you said, I mean, these parties have been in power. Your party has been in power before. The MPP have gotten the opportunity before. What is it? Is it that there's no interest by you, the legislators, who are given the opportunity on the select committee? What exactly is the problem?
Well, I don't know whether it is the no interest or whatever, but whatever it is a problem that we must find solution to. And so the promise by the NDC this time around to establish a sports fund must be worked on. Whether it is going to be through a sports lottery, whether it's going to be taking percentages of some taxes that already exist. Like, for example, people have proposed that there are some taxes on sports betting activities that is generally emanating from sports. And so a percentage of the tax that the state gets from sports betting should go into the fund to support sports. Because the more the sports grow, the bigger the tax component that also comes to the state. So if the component of the tax that comes to the state can be placed into a fund to help in growing what will feed the state more, why not? That's one option that have been looked at. And of course, I've mentioned a sports lottery, which will be run such that all the proceeds that comes, that one goes direct into the sports fund. You mentioned earlier when I talked about getting something, a percentage from the GET fund, of course. This is because school sports is very critical and it's now part of sports. The new act creates for the establishment of School Sports Development Agency. So that will become a new agency that the sports ministry will be running.
Now, Sports Minister Kofi Adams may not have to worry much because the Black Stars, who consume a large portion of the ministry's funds, will not participate in the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations. The competition, scheduled for December in Morocco, is 10 months away. Now, some journalists have expressed disappointment at Ghana's absence from the competition, the first time since 2004. Nathaniel Atto has more.
Come December 2025, Morocco will be under the spotlight because every country around the world will be watching the Africa Cup of Nations from here. Well, the sad thing is that Ghana will not be participating in this continental football showpiece. I've been speaking to some colleagues of mine from across the continent, and they've got views about this disappointment.
After the World Cup 2022, many people that don't know much about our country discover Morocco by the performance, the historical performance of the Atlas Lions. By hosting this event, we increase a little more, a step further, our soft power. And I'm very, very sad because Ghana, who won 4 Afcon, 63, 65, 78, and 82 won't be here. The country of many great, talented, gifted footballers like the brothers Ayo. It's a shame for Ghanaian football, for Ghanaian Football Federation not to qualify for a competition with 24 countries from 54. You know, when you have the possibility to be in a group of 4 nations and you see Ghana, you won't consider that Ghana won't be here. You start with the thinking that Ghana would qualify. Especially that 2 years ago, Ghana was one of 5 African countries participating in the World Cup in Qatar.
Top-ranking nation in football keep dropping out to the point where they can't be able to, grab a qualification ticket for such a tournament that they usually used to have it at the swing of a finger. It's really going to be a tournament with a little miss out on salt, I want to put it that way. But it's life, it's football. You can never tell what the fate will be. Ghana usually used to give us that spark in football. I remember when we were still young in Cameroon, usually you want to, when they talk of the Black Stars, you want to be in front of the TV to watch how they go about their matches. It was either Cameroon, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa for Cameroonians, and also Egypt. So it's a good point for those who will be competing for the fact that Ghana won't be in the game. We will have less competitors, but as an African, we want to be cordial with each other. It's going to be a little bit sour without Ghana, but game-wise, we're happy. The challenges are reducing in number.
Well, it is very obvious that Ghanaian fans in Ghana and around the world would have to watch this on television. They may come here and cheer other teams to victory or otherwise. But the reality is there. We've heard the thoughts from across the continent, and Ghana would have to sit back. But clearly the lessons have been learned, and this should definitely not happen again to a nation as great as Ghana in football and its folklore in the African continent. Nathaniel Atto in the heart of Rabat.
Sports.